They sized you up before you even spoke. You thought you had time to impress them, that words would earn their trust. But by the time you finished your first sentence, the decision had already been made. The room had already cast its vote. Because long before logic kicks in, your brain does something older, something deeper. It filters, not through reasoning, but through instinct. It asks 3 questions in silence. Is this person a threat? Is this person above me? Is this person like me? And it does not wait for your answer. It decides instantly. This is the hidden filter, the silent judge that sits behind every first impression. It has no face, no voice, but it shapes everything. The job offer, the handshake, the relationship, the moment of hesitation, the flicker of doubt, the surrender. And if you cannot see this filter working in real time, then you are already under its control. The brain's oldest wiring is not here to make you wise. It is here to keep you alive. That wiring lives in the limbic system, the primitive core of your mind. It does not understand nuance. It reads posture, voice tone, rhythm, stillness. This is the reason why you have felt drawn to someone without knowing why. Why you have nodded during a conversation, and only later realized you did not understand a word they said. It was not the content, it was the presence. That presence speaks to your instinct. And instinct does not ask for permission. So the question is not whether others are filtering you, they are. The question is, do you know how to trigger the right instinct? The answer begins with stillness. Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of control. In a world addicted to speed, the one who is calm becomes powerful. Not because he demands attention, but because he does not. When you walk into a room and your presence says, I do not need to prove myself, something changes. The hidden filter detects a signal. Calm under pressure. Composure without tension. The signal of someone who leads without needing to chase. And here is the paradox. The more you try to impress, the more invisible you become. But the less you try to convince, the more people lean in. Because deep inside every mind is a search for certainty. The brain is scanning, searching for a leader, not a title, a tone, a stillness, a command that needs no volume. No, understand this. The hidden filter is not evil. It is just ancient, and it will follow whatever feels stronger. Not louder, stronger. That is why so many voices are ignored. They shout, they beg, they chase approval. But the hidden filter reads that as desperation, as weakness, as a signal to retreat. And the man who speaks softly, the woman who waits an extra second before replying, the person who blinks slowly after a moment of silence, they are not reacting. They are commanding, quietly, instinctively, because the real war is not fought with words, it is fought in milliseconds, before words are processed, before the mind is aware. You win or lose the room before the conversation begins. This is not manipulation. This is self-mastery. It begins with awareness, with knowing that the brain's first response is not truth, it is instinct. And that instinct can be influenced by energy, by control, by presence. The hidden filter does not care about your resume. It cares about how you make people feel. Do you feel grounded or scattered? Do you move with certainty or with apology? Do your eyes speak fear or clarity? These questions are not asked out loud, but they are answered every time. So train your presence before your performance. Learn the language of the unseen, because those who can speak to instinct will always lead those who only speak to logic. You do not need to dominate the room. You need to master your signal, and that begins by mastering yourself. Now pause, because in that pause, something happens. The filter engages, and if your energy is right, it passes you through. That is the first shift. From performing to projecting, From chasing to commanding, from proving to embodying. Speak to instinct, and instinct will speak for you. The moment you stop speaking is the moment they start listening. Not because silence is loud, but because silence is rare. The power pause is not hesitation, it is precision. It is the moment between impulse and control. It is what separates the ones who react from the ones who lead. When you pause before speaking, the room leans forward. It starts asking questions. Why is he waiting? What is she thinking? Is this about to change everything? That gap, however brief, triggers the brain's survival mechanism. It senses a pattern break. It prepares for something different. And in that state of readiness, you become the center. The pause is the first act of leadership. Not because it controls others, but because it demonstrates that you can control yourself. The one who speaks too fast is trying to keep up. The one who pauses is making others catch up. This is not about acting. It is about access. When you pause, you gain access to their mind. Because the pause makes them look inward. It creates a vacuum. And nature abhors a vacuum. So the brain fills it with meaning, with emotion, with projection. And when that happens, you do not need to prove anything. Because their own thoughts are already working for you. You see, the world is full of noise. Everyone wants to be heard, but few stop to listen. Fewer still understand the impact of a pause. Every great speech, every legendary leader, every unforgettable moment of presence had one thing in common: timing. And timing is not measured in speed. It is measured in rhythm, space, breath. If you want your words to land, give them room. Let the silence wrap around them. Let the brain absorb, not just hear. The most powerful people you know are not the ones who say the most. They are the ones who know when not to speak, when to stop, when to look, when to wait. Because that is where the power is. In restraint, in holding tension, in refusing to rush. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable at first. Pausing feels like weakness in a world that celebrates speed. But that discomfort is your training. It is the friction that builds presence. The discipline that sharpens your edge. Do not fear the pause. Own it. Let it be your weapon. Let it be your mirror. Let it show you how often you speak to fill space, not to deliver truth. Because when you pause with purpose, you reclaim space. You create gravity. And people are drawn to gravity. So the next time you enter a room, do not rush to speak. Let the silence announce you. Let the pause prepare the room. Let your energy do what words cannot. And when you speak, speak from stillness, from knowing, not needing, from control, not chaos. Because when you learn to pause, you learn to lead, without raising your voice, without fighting for the floor, just silence, just presence, just power. That is the second shift. From noise to wait, from impulse to intention, from fast to undeniable. The power pause is not about silence. It is about control. And control begins with you. They say the eyes are the window to the soul. But in the world of silent power, the eyes are something more. They are the command center. They deliver truth without sound. And they expose weakness before a word is spoken. The way you look at someone says everything about how you see yourself. The weak look away too soon. The insecure hold too long. The desperate search for approval. The dominant simply observe. A leader's eyes do not chase. They scan. They measure. They remain still when others blink, and they blink when others fidget. It is not aggression. It is calibration. The difference between control and control freak. Calibrated eye contact is a weapon of awareness. It is not used to overpower, but to anchor. You are not staring. You are not piercing. You are not playing a game. You are simply letting the other person feel seen. and silently examined. The most powerful eye contact does not seek validation. It seeks alignment. It says, I see you, I am aware of you, but I do not need anything from you. That is the signal the instinctive brain reads, and it reads fast. You see, eye contact is processed by the limbic system before it reaches the conscious mind. That means people feel your presence before they understand it. And that is your advantage. If you know how to control what your eyes are saying, you control what the room believes. But here is the key. You do not hold eye contact like a robot. You deliver it like a rhythm. A brief hold, a calm blink, a return. Just long enough for them to feel the weight. Then release. Too much, and you trigger alarm. Too little, and you signal insecurity. But just enough, and you create the magnetic tension that makes people follow you without knowing why. This is how trust is built. Not through convincing, but through being. Because when you can look someone in the eye with calm certainty, you send one powerful message. I am not afraid of being seen. And most people are. That is why they blink too fast, fidget, glance down, look away. But the one who can sit in full eye contact, without flinching, without performing, becomes unforgettable. That presence becomes truth, not because it explains anything, but because it exposes nothing. So here is the practice. When you speak, speak with your eyes first. Let them set the tone. Let them say, I am not in a rush. I am not here to please. I am simply present. You will be amazed at how people respond. They will soften or harden. They will adjust or retreat, but they will feel something. And when you can make someone feel something without raising your voice, you are no longer talking, you are leading. That is the third shift. From seeking connection to creating gravity, from nervous glancing to steady leading, from chasing approval to commanding presence. Your eyes are not just tools, they are signals. And when used with intention, they speak louder than words ever could. You have seen it before. Two friends talking. Their bodies lean at the same angle. Their arms cross in the same way. They nod at the same rhythm. Without knowing it, they are mirroring. It is not a trick. It is a truth. Humans trust what feels familiar. We are drawn to what reflects us, and we fear what feels different. In the world of influence, this is not a gimmick. It is survival. The brain is constantly asking, are you safe? Are you like me? Can I trust you? Mirroring answers those questions before they are even asked. But not all mirroring is created equal. What you need is calibrated pacing. That means adjusting your posture, tone, or rhythm not to copy, but to connect. It is subtle. It is respectful. It is precise. It says, I see you. I understand your energy. I am moving with you. And when that alignment happens, defenses drop. Because the brain says, this person feels like home. Now understand this. Mirroring is not manipulation. It is awareness. It is listening without words, matching without effort, leading without force. When you walk into a room and someone is tense, you do not force calm upon them. You meet them where they are. Then slowly, gradually, you guide the energy. That is pacing. First match, then lead. It is what great therapists do, what elite negotiators do, what natural-born leaders do, without even realizing it. They sense where others are, and they offer a bridge. You see, if you want to move someone, you must first enter their world. And nothing enters faster than reflection. The way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you tilt your head. These are signals, and when used with integrity, they open the door, but do not overdo it. People sense fakery. They feel when you are mimicking, not mirroring. They recoil from the artificial. So the key is subtlety. One mirrored movement at a time. One shared rhythm at a time. One echoed word at a time. And once the trust begins, once the rhythm clicks, you shift. You lead. You slow your tone. You settle your breath. You lower your volume. And like a dance, they follow. Not because you forced them, but because you met them where they were and gave them a better rhythm to walk into. That is influence. And it does not come from domination. It comes from empathy, from awareness, from control. Control of yourself, not of them. Because when you master mirroring, you are no longer performing. You are guiding, quietly, powerfully, effectively. That is the fourth shift. From separation to synchronization. From tension to trust. From individual performance to shared presence. Most people try to lead by standing apart. But true leaders know you lead best when you first connect. And you connect fastest when you reflect. So pay attention. To postura. To pace. To presence. Because every signal you send is a thread. And the way you weave those threads determines the strength of your bond. When you pace with grace, you open the door. And once the door is open, all you need is to walk through. Familiarity is safe, but it is also forgettable. Most people live on autopilot. They think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, react the same way. So when you speak in patterns they already expect, you disappear into the background. But when you break the pattern, even for a moment, their mind jolts awake. That is the pattern interrupt. A technique so subtle, yet so disruptive it makes people stop mid-thought. It is not chaos. It is precision. A crack in the rhythm that lets you slip into their awareness without force. It begins with one thing. Surprise. Not shock. Not noise. Surprise. A pause where a word should be. A question instead of a statement. A soft voice where anger was expected. And in that moment of dissonance, the brain freezes. The filter we spoke of earlier gets confused. It stops scanning and starts recalibrating. It says, wait, something is different. Pay attention. This is the moment of leverage. Because in that half second of mental pause, the gate is open. The mind that was closed becomes curious. The wall that was up begins to shift. And you, the one who broke the pattern, step through. Think about it. You remember the stranger who said something odd but meaningful. You forget the ones who echoed everyone else. You remember the conversation that caught you off guard, not the one that followed the script. Why? Because your mind is trained to detect novelty, not just for entertainment, but for survival. Novelty might be danger. Novelty might be opportunity. Either way, it demands attention. This is not manipulation. It is clarity. You are not breaking patterns to confuse. You are doing it to disrupt the fog, to shake the sleep from the room, to invite real presence back into the conversation. The key is to remain calm during the disruption. Let the silence stretch a bit longer than usual. Drop in a line that does not quite belong but makes people think. Like, what if everything you believe is wrong? Or, why are you still here if you have already decided? Not accusations, reflections. And the moment they pause, that is when you deliver the message. Not too fast, not too forcefully. Just clean, just direct. That window will not stay open long. But if you are prepared, you can walk through it with impact. Now be careful. A pattern interrupt is not about being random. It is about being unexpected with purpose. Every disruption must still connect. Otherwise, you lose trust instead of gaining attention. So here's how you use it. Feel the rhythm of the conversation. Sense when they expect the next line. Then break it slightly and watch their eyes if they pause, if they blink slowly, if their breath shifts, you have entered. Do not speak more. Let it land. Because sometimes silence after a disruption is more powerful than any follow-up. That is the fifth shift. From automatic to arresting. From expected to unforgettable. From noise to signal. You are no longer part of the background. You are the one who changed the room's rhythm, and they will feel it. So break the pattern, not to confuse, but to command. Most people blink without thinking, but the few who blink with purpose can own a room. There is a reason predators in the wild blink slowly. It is not fatigue, it is not boredom, it is power. A slow blink sends a message. I am not threatened. I am not impressed. And I am not in a rush. It says, I see everything. I feel everything. But nothing controls me. Now imagine this. You are in a conversation. The other person speaks. Their words are sharp. Their tone quick. Their posture tight. And you pose. Then slowly, deliberately, blink. The shift is instant. Their rhythm breaks. Their dominance flickers. Their certainty shakes. Because in that one controlled blink, you just said, I am grounded. I am calm. You do not move me. That is dominance without aggression. Control without resistance. Presence without performance. The slow blink is not a performance trick. It is a nervous system signal. It communicates calm at the primal level. When animals feel safe, they blink slowly. When they feel danger, their eyes stay wide. So when you blink slowly, the other brain reads that as, this person is not in fear. This person must be in control. It is processed faster than logic, faster than speech, and deeper than reason. Now, do not confuse this with being lazy. The slow blink is not about spacing out. It is about tuning in. It must be precise, timed, grounded. It happens after the other person speaks, not during your own. It comes with stillness, not with fidgeting. It is the punctuation mark of confidence, the full stop of your presence, and when used with the pause, with the eye contact, with the pacing, it becomes the final signature, the anchor, because here is the truth. The brain is always reading microsignals, tiny shifts in breath, tiny flinches, blink rates, pulse rhythms. The slow blink is the signal that says you are not reacting, you are receiving. And that is what terrifies people who try to control you. They cannot get to you because you do not respond on command. You respond on your own time. And your time is slow, deliberate, undeniable. That is what the military researchers discovered. Not a technique, but a glitch in the brain. The slow blink bypassed logic. It told the other person, this is not a negotiation. This is the new gravity. Now you must earn this tool. Do not use it to fake power. Do not slow, blink, and then speak with fear. It only works when it is backed by internal stillness. Because once the illusion breaks, once your presence says control, but your words say chaos, you lose more than attention. You lose trust. So practice it, not in the mirror, but in the moment. Slow your breath, slow your thoughts, and when the time is right, let the blink deliver the signal. No words, no sturris, just presence. That is the sixth shift. From motion to meaning. From speed to signal. From reaction to control. Your eyes are not tools. They are weapons. And the slow blink is your trigger. Use it wisely, because once they see it, they cannot unsee it. And once you own it, you will never again need to shout. The silent speak, the loudest, and the stillest. Always lead. Pressure is a weapon of the insecure. It demands, it pushes, it tries to force what cannot be earned. But presence is different. Presence does not chase. Presence invites. Real leaders do not lead because they talk louder. They lead because their presence says one thing. Follow or don't. I remain the same. In a world addicted to performance, the one who is still becomes magnetic. The one who does not need attention ends up commanding it. And the one who stops seeking power becomes the most powerful of all. But presence is not an accident. It is a choice. It is the result of alignment between your inner world and outer signal. Most people project what they think others want. They smile when they are anxious. They speak when they are unsure. They nod when they disagree. And every time they do, they betray themselves. And the world sees it, not always consciously, but instinctively. We can feel when someone is not in sync. Their energy pulls in two directions. Their voice says confidence, but their eyes beg for approval. Their words say certainty, but their body twitches with doubt. That kind of presence cannot lead, because it is not whole. To lead with presence, you must first return to yourself. You must ask, what do I stand for? What do I value? What am I unwilling to trade just to be liked? Then you walk into every room carrying those answers. In your spine, your breath, your tone. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be integrated. Because the world does not follow perfection, it follows authenticity. It follows wholeness. When your presence and your purpose speak the same language, something incredible happens. You no longer try to lead. You simply are. That is when people feel it. They feel safer around you. Not because you protect them, but because you protect your own energy. They feel drawn to you. Not because you entertain, but because you do not need their approval to feel alive. This is the final shift. From projection to alignment. From persuasion to embodiment. From pressure to power. The silent power is not a game of tricks. It is a practice of being. You pause because you are not in a rush. You look because you are not afraid to see. You mirror because you understand connection. You break the pattern because you refuse to be forgettable. You blink slowly because you are not here to react. And you lead because you are already complete. There is no act. There is no manipulation. There is only presence. And presence cannot be faked for long. Eventually, the world will ask, are you what you seem? And only your alignment will answer. So stop trying to control the world. Control yourself. Let your breath lead your voice. Let your silence speak for you. Let your stillness be the message. Because when people feel that you do not need to lead, they start following you. Not out of fear, but out of respect. And respect lasts longer than obedience. You cannot control how others receive you, but you can control the signal you send. So send one that is rooted, not restless, calm, not chaotic, silent, but powerful, because the deepest respect is not demanded. It is commanded through the energy you carry, not the volume you project. That is the final shift, the essence of the silent power, to lead with presence, not pressure. You have heard the 7 shifts, not tricks, not hacks, but truths, ancient, instinctive, undeniable. They are not about controlling others. They are about controlling yourself, because real power does not come from your voice. It comes from your presence. From your ability to hold tension, to embrace stillness, to resist the urge to perform in a world that rewards noise, the one who is quiet becomes the signal. The one who pauses becomes unforgettable. The one who observes becomes respected. The one who mirrors becomes trusted. The one who disrupts becomes remembered. The one who blinks slowly becomes obeyed. The one who aligns becomes followed. And when all those pieces come together, you do not need to explain yourself, because your presence explains everything. Let the others talk over each other. Let them chase applause. Let them drown in their own volume. You walk into a room, say nothing, and still speak the loudest. That is what it means to command respect without saying a word. But here is what most people miss. This power is not built in public. It is built in silence, when no one is watching. It is built in the moments when you choose restraint over reaction, breath over panic, alignment over performance. Every pause you hold, every blink you control, every moment you choose presence over pressure. You are crafting the invisible armor that sets you apart. You become unshakable, not because the world stops testing you, but because you stop needing to prove yourself. This is the journey of the few, the disciplined, the aware, the ones who walk a little slower, stand a little stiller, and speak only when the room is ready to listen. And when they do speak, their voice cuts through, not because it is loud, but because it carries the weight of silence behind it. So, if you remember nothing else, remember this. Power is not noise. It is direction. Respect is not given. It is sensed, and the most magnetic energy in the world is calm confidence. It does not chase. It does not beg. It does not shout. It simply is. Now, the room is watching you. Now the moment is yours. Now your presence is the message. And the question is no longer, how do you get respect? But, are you ready to become the kind of person who no longer needs to ask? Because when you carry silent power, the world leans in and listens.